Hello. This video will walk you through how to access, create events, and share the Google Calendar. Now keep in mind as we transition from first class to Google for our email and calendaring needs for next year and the years to come, some of the steps and the directions may have changed. Last year, we used Google to just collect the events, and then we moved them onto the official calendars within first class. This coming year, in 2019-20 and beyond, Google will be the official calendar for the entire district as well as each school site. We will not be using first class. So for that reason, the events that you put on this Google Calendar might be slightly different. But we do want to just make sure that everyone has access to the calendars and know how to add events as well as share them with others so that others can add events as well. So this email is what went out. The timeline is listed here with Sanger High and Washington Academic School completing from today, May 20th, until May 31st. And then all elementary school sites, as well as Hallmark, Alt Ed, CDS, and Kings River and Taft, and the adult school will complete this process between June 3rd and June 14th. And again, this, because it is the calendar that you will be using from here on out, you would want to put on it anything that you would put on the first class calendar. For example, for school sites, it would be anything that you would want an AA or above to attend. But you might also put other events on there just for your own site calendars. Keep in mind, though, that these calendars might be eventually put onto the public for your school websites. So don't put any confidential information such as IEPs or otherwise. The district will, after May 31st for WAMs and the high school, and then after June 14th, we will go onto your site calendars and add the events that need to be on the district calendar so that it can be populated on the district website. We'll go ahead and do that. You can just maintain your own school site calendar. But first things first, we just need to make sure that we're signed into Google using our @SangerUSD.net account. You can see that you are by in Google, just on google.com, going up to the top and making sure that it says the right account with the @SangerUSD.net. We're then going to either click up on the browser and go to calendar.google.com or just click on the waffle and click on calendar. And from here, you might see a couple of calendars. Before we get too much further, I want to make sure that you are going to be able to add the district calendar. So within this email, you can click on this link or copy and paste it. It will reload the calendar, but now it adds this little pop-up window that says Add Calendar, District Calendar, and it says Cancel or Add. Go ahead and click Add, and what that will do is now allow you to see not only your own personal calendar. So for example, where it says Sanger Learns, this should say your name, the account that you're logged in with. It will also have birthdays, reminders, and tasks. You can get rid of birthdays, but you can't get rid of these two. These populate automatically. And then you should see your school site name. Now you also see the district calendar, and that is the official calendar that we will be using from today on forward. Last year, because we used this same process, we created a district calendar and then school site calendars for Sanger High, WAMs, and then an elementary calendar. Those calendars we renamed with the school year 2018-19 to avoid confusion. They will be deleted, but we left them on there for you to view in case you needed to reference any of the events that you put on last year. So they're still there for your view, but you can't do anything with them. Same thing with the district calendar. You can see what's on the district calendar, but you won't be able to add any events to the district calendar. So from here, now that you have access to the district calendar so that you can see the events that are already there, such as trainings, any recurring meetings, any district events, and then you also have access to your calendar for your school site. If for whatever reason you do not have access to that calendar, I'll talk through how to share it out or find someone that does have access and ask them to share it with you towards the end of this video. I'm going to zoom forward to August 2019, and you can see that these events are already here. If you don't like the color of these events, you can change the color here, but that color will just show up on your computer, or I'm sorry, on your account. So now that we know you have access to the district calendar that you just added, let's now talk about how to share the calendar with others in case you need people other than who's already been shared with to add events. So right next to the name of the calendar, there are 3 vertical dots. You're going to click on that and then click Settings and Sharings. That will open up this window. Please don't make any changes to the name of the calendar, but down here where it says Share with Specific People, these are all the people that I have shared it with already. So it was any administrator, any CSP or ISP. And then if I knew the names of the administrative assistants, I also did them as well as any activities or athletics directors. But if someone is not on here, everyone on this list has the access to not only make changes to the calendar, but also manage the sharing of the calendar. So you can add a person. I'm just going to type in my name. Get rid of all these pop-ups. So Katie Galt. And then you can choose what level, but if you want them to be able to make any changes to the events, like create events, then they have to at least have this level. If you also want them to be able to share it out with others, then you can do that one. But just click make changes to events and then click send. And now their name pops up. Now that's not what I would do for every teacher. Once the calendar is populated and you want to share it out with your staff, the easiest way to do that is up here where it says make available for Sanger Unified. That is already checked. But they would just be able to see whether things are free or busy. They wouldn't be able to see the names of events or locations. So what you could then do is say, see all event details, and then get the shareable link. And just like in the email, you had the shareable link to the district calendar, you would take this calendar link and copy it and email it out. Or you could also make it a bit.ly or embed it onto your site calendar. That is all kind of one of the things down here where you can integrate the calendar and have a public URL or embed it into your website. And we'll get more in depth as we go forward with our calendar. But I'm just going to close this out. All right, so now that we know you have access and you can see both your site calendar as well as the district calendar, I'm going to hide this other email. The thing that you do need to keep in mind on this email is it gives some examples of how to name. So some of the naming conventions of the events. We're asking you to put either the name or initials for your school site prior to the name of the event, just so when everything is merged to the district calendar, it's nice and clear. But I'm going to make this window larger now. So you can zoom ahead or backwards to a particular month. I'm going to go to August 2019. And these are all the events that are on the district calendar. You cannot change any of these events, but now that you see where they are, you'll be able to have a better understanding of when you might want to plan your school events. But say you want, for example, your back to school night to be on August 26th. In order to create an event, you would either click once and then click more options, or just double click. You can name it, again, using the conventions that we talked about with either the name or the initials. If it is not an all-day event, uncheck the all-day box and then choose the particular times that the event would take place. You can also have it span over more days if that's necessary, depending on the different event. But again, for this example, we're just going to say that it is August 26th from 5:30 to 7. As far as a location, this is anything that you would find on a Google map. So you can put your school site and it will it'll populate with your location. But if you want a particular room, and this is going to be one of the biggest changes, but you can actually assign rooms just like we used to in first class. We added in the rooms that you put on the school site rooms and resources list. So you can scroll down to your school site and then choose whatever room or location. I'm just going to pick the theater for the sake of this, and it will keep both. So the address as well as the theater, it will also now reserve that theater so nothing else can get booked in that. That's where it says available rooms only. The theater is now taken off this list because it has already been used. If there are more than one spot or more than one location, say, for example, it's in the theater and in the West Gym, you can assign that same event to multiple locations. Let's say it's in the West, the East Gym, and in the theater. It is now assigned to all three of those locations. You can also invite guests, and this is how you would add it to your own personal calendar. So you could invite any guests across the district. If you type in their name, just like in first class, the first and last letters of their name, it will pop up. You can choose whether the guest can modify, invite others, or see the guest list. I'm just going to leave this as is because it's an example. The last thing we want to make sure is that you are making this event on your site calendar as opposed to your personal calendar. So if, for example, this said Sanger Learns, This will not show up on my site calendar. It would just be on my personal calendar, which again for you would be your name. So making sure that it is on Washington Academic Middle School calendar. You can add a description, especially if there's specifics for a location or who's the contact person for the event. You can add that information here. Otherwise, just leave it blank. And you can color code it, but this color coding will only show up on your calendar. And then just click save. And I'm going to take Leo off so that he doesn't get an email. And now you can see that I still have all of the blue district-wide events, but now I have this WAMS back to school night. You can toggle these on and off so that you can only see your school site events or only see the district. If you want to see them both at the same time, just keep them both checked. But that is how you add events to the school site calendar, which we will then add to the district calendar before sending to the next layer of people that are needing to add it. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, you can see the email and forward these different videos to those that are adding the calendar events. Otherwise, you can email me, Katie Gault, Gault, if you need help getting access to your Sanger account. That's it. So have fun calendaring.